So let's have this as our kind of finale topic here, and it's one that we've had on the show quite a few weeks. We've talked about it, and one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out to you and really get this booked is, I was hearing your take on NIL and just in general. It's been an ongoing conversation, right? Why can't Michigan does so great with 4 stars and coaching them up, and 3 stars and coaching them up, but this year for some reason, the 5 stars have decided last second, let's go to Florida, let's go to Ohio State, let's go to this school. And the Justin Scott decision, when I was pretty sure he was either coming to Michigan or going to Notre Dame, and then he decided to go to Ohio State. Do you think here that there is a factor that Michigan just won't give upfront money, period, to anybody, and so they kind of keep themselves out of the running from these 5 stars? What do you think the truth is there, and what have you been seeing?
Well, that's what it appears, and I think Michigan, it's a strategy. It's not just that they're sitting back saying, hey, we are not crossing this line whatsoever, although the fan base really likes that they're saying that. So I do think that they do. I think it works both ways. The fans like that, hey, Michigan's, they're not going to stoop to that level. They're not going to pay the upfront money. They're not giving signing bonuses. They're going to do everything else that they can above board, but they're not going to do that. The fans are eating it up. Plus, it's working with Michigan right now. You can say whatever you want about NIL, and 5 stars down the road, it doesn't look great. But last year, they were able to keep Blake Corum. They were able to keep Trevor Keegan, Zach Center.
Yes.
Those would have been gone to the pros. The defense,
yes, they would have.
Jenkins would have been gone. I wouldn't have been surprised to see Sandra still, making the leap. These guys would have been out of there. Michigan.
The one more year fund.
Well, they were able to keep those guys. So I think thinking about hanging in there with U of M, the best thing they can do is continue to win. If they can do that, I think this plan is going to work. I mean, that might sound obvious, but I think on the player side, if you are a top 100 kid, if you are a 5-star, I think it would be really easy to say, hey, I've earned this money. Like, nobody cares. In the 2 years, nobody has done anything except the twins down at Miami who are on a video, I think basically, with the money in their hand or in the pocket. So nobody's is enforcing anything. So, they say, why not? Why not take the money when it comes down to it? And the other part about it is that last year at this time, it wasn't just me. There were a lot of people that were crying about Michigan and the transfer portal. Michigan's not going to be able to get anybody because their admissions. Ward Manuel is screwing everything up. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I don't know what he can do. This is going to cost Michigan. Between the NIL and the transfer portal, Michigan's going to get screwed. Michigan's hit the transfer portal for the jackpot. They've got 10 players this year, and they're going to have more than 5 or 6 of them, are going to be pretty big impact, led by Drake Nugent right there snapping the ball. But you can just keep going down the list of the different guys that they got. I think Josiah Stewart, he looked really good. I don't take too much out of a spring game. He looks like a hell of a player. I wouldn't be surprised if he's an impact edge guy. So my point here, it's a long answer, is that I think it's a strategy by Michigan. If they keep winning, they keep doing all these things like, hey, we've got this collective, we've got that collective. And a lot of it can get confusing to me, but I think they just keep throwing stuff out there. It's a fluid situation with everyone. And Michigan, I know they've hired somebody specifically from their business school that's looking at this. I don't think those guys are just sitting around with their feet in the air, with the buffet and everything. They're strategizing on how to, get Michigan and how to get those top players. But if they keep winning, and if they can combine a transfer portal and a top 10, 15 recruiting class, and, it makes you feel like it's a top 5 one, who cares if they're not getting, Justin Scott? And I'll tell you this about Ohio State. If they look soft against Michigan and Donovan Edwards is running like he was in the fourth quarter up and down the field and Blake Gordon's 100%, half of those 5 stars are going to be in the transfer portal and a couple of them are going to come to Michigan.
And that's the other side of it, right? Because when you look at schools where in Texas A&M's case, it was literally called, I don't know if you watched that video where the recruiter was saying, look at these people up on there. They're all going to be funding you, basically. I think that's the most blatant we've seen it, other than the Jalen Rashada $13 million NIL thing. I'd say having it be on video that, you know, this is their pitch. But then notice the exodus. So after they secure, however they secured those commits at Texas A&M and Miami and other places, well, now they're transferring to the school that they want to go to, right? And so that is the flip side is, you know, Michigan's selling, if you do well on the field, we have this new Empower initiative, the Empower, and bring, you know, having a stipend once you get on. So I think Harbaugh was saying like, well, we don't want anybody eating the ramen noodles and not being able to get anywhere. You know, we treat them like our kids. You know, we want them to have the ability to get places and eat, and they don't have to eat the ramen noodles every day. And I think that that's a solid way to look at it. Like, you know, make sure that people have a decent quality of life while they're at the school, and, you know, busting it for the football team, right? But, you know, maybe that's kind of the line that they want to go. The only caveat I'd say is that in the playoffs, what I've seen is, look at the teams that do the best in the playoffs: Alabama, Georgia, Clemson back in the, you know, 2018 more so than 2016. You know, there's really only 3 that have won the title with a lower blue chip ratio. And I was looking at this, and because I was like, I know that there's been teams with less of a blue chip than Michigan who won. And I came up with Auburn 2010, FSU 2013, and Clemson 2016 did have a lower blue chip ratio. They had elite quarterback play. So the question Mark and I discussed before is, you know, if JJ can make that leap to an elite quarterback play, because that seems to be the way you can win a title in the recent era without having a bunch of 5 stars all over the field.
Yeah, great quarterback play. I think you guys hit it right on the nose. And I do think that the transfer portal now, all that stuff previously, you are correct, but being able to blend the transfer portal in there and then continuing to just look at this thing and tease it and find spots where, you know, you can take advantage of some of the rules in the gray area. And, you know, hell, who knows, with a 12-team playoff, and, you know, maybe these things are going to be changing around. And, you know, you're always adjusting and trying to figure out how you can do it and get that talent. You need that talent. I mean, I'm trying to beat around the bush and everything else. At some point, you know, they are going to have to be pulling those guys in, because if the NIL started 4 years ago, it doesn't seem like Donovan Edwards and J.J. McCarthy and some of these other guys would I know they got Will Johnson, but, you know, he was a legacy guy and his dad played at Michigan. I don't know how many guys they're getting outside the state of Michigan if, you know, this was going to be their strategy. But, you know, it's fluid, keep winning. And they've been impressive, even when it looked like last year that, you know, oh my God, they don't know what they're doing. Here they are. And I got to say that they do look like they know what they're doing right now. So.
Absolutely.